Hello and welcome to another episode of the FPL Hangover podcast, where for the 150th time we will be raising the bar and lowering the tone, all things FPL related. A big hello to everyone on the YouTubes. We are live streaming this, which means only one thing. I've written the introduction because I can't afford to fuck it up and make the lads start all over again. So with that in mind, I've prepared a few words to commemorate the occasion. Basically, when myself and Seamus decided 149 episodes ago that we were going to meet up once a week and chat FPL, people said we were mad. Seamus knows this. People said we were mad. And, you know, after this length of time, maybe they were right. Maybe we should have just learned a second language. Or maybe we should have invested in Bitcoin. Or maybe I should have just put more work into this introduction. But here we are, 150 episodes later. We've picked up a mad Donegal head case along the way. And the bar is still serving creamy pints of FPL goodness. And here to help me celebrate this milestone episode are my two podcast partners in crime. Seamus, how do you do? 150. Yeah, I don't think that's changed much. But before we get into that, my other podcast partner in crime, Podrick, Constatu.
Tam Ego Mike there, and it's an honour to be here and to be a part of the episode 150 with you two absolute gentlemen, and to share it, of course, with the millions and millions watching at home.
Yes, a big sláinte to everyone at home. What are you drinking tonight, gents? Seamus, what have you got in front of you? It's probably Heineken.
Bring it up there. Do we get a look at it, Seamus? Up close there. What? Yeah. Just you. Oh, nice glass. Oh, it's Carlsberg glass. I take it back. We are getting reports in that no one can hear Seamus. It might not be a bad thing, but Seamus, your sound is fucked.
You've done it again, Seamus. What about...
Oh, yes. Fancy looking bottle, that, Seamus.
No, I think I knew technical difficulties would happen, and I was prepared for this, but not prepared on how to fix it. Yeah. What about if I do that?
Meanwhile, I'll just let everyone know that Seamus says that he doesn't really want to be here, and he thinks you're all a bunch of wankers.
Spoiler alert, I was getting to that. Can you hear me now, guys? Let me know if you can hear me. Ger did something on the thing, so I might be able to be heard now.
Yeah, I did fix a few bits and bobs. I have a producer in the background, but everything's so bright. I got a thumbs up. I've got a thumbs up. We're all good to go. If it's any consolation, Seamus said absolutely nothing relevant. So
no, I was basically talking about my beer.
That's perfect. That's what I wanted to do. Ease into this, because I'm still trying to wing this whole streaming crack. Because, you know, once you're in that prep zone where there's a timer countdown, you don't have a fucking clue. You can't check shit anymore. Do you know what I mean? You're like, uh-oh. And we kind of all jumped on real late. And it was like, okay, I guess we're just going to go in 50 minutes. The guys don't know what's in store this week. I haven't told you what's up, have I?
I have no idea.
No, I was going to ask you beforehand, what's the running order? And I was like, let's just see what happens. And you can tell us right now, or just...
Well, I'll tell the audience, I'll tell the listeners and the legends in the chat what's in store. So since we last spoke, it's been a couple of weeks, postponements, yada yada yada. We were in mourning. We have a bit of news. The two boyos, Seamus and Paddy, have played their wildcards. They played them in, I believe it was actually game week 7, but that obviously got delayed, so it ended up being the game week 8 wildcard. So we're going to have a quick look at their teams and just kind of refresh and see how they're feeling post wildcard, because, you know, we're here for a bit of crack tonight. There's going to be, you know, I think everyone's kind of waiting for FPL to start again before we really kind of feel that vibe because it's been so long. So we're gonna wing through that, and then surprise to you two, I'm actually wildcard positive this evening. I've tested positive. Wildcard button was hit a week ago.
So we've all fully blown wildcards now.
Yeah, exactly. The wads have been shot, and now it's to see who the strongest swimmer is. But you're gonna help me do my wildcard. Like, I got questions. I've generally kind of only had half an eye on the the FPL Twitterverse community. So I need to bounce some ideas off you and see what you think. So you're going to be helping me through that, and that'll scaffold the episode because we got a couple of talking points I want to go through. We're going to look at the mini league because why not? We're fucking here. They're the ones setting the standard for everyone else, and we got puck follows and then captaincy, or probably captaincy first because whatever. But yeah, packed full of creamy FPL goodness, and.
Can I ask you, jump in and ask you, Ger, when did you pull the wild card? Was it pulled like day one of the international break, or was it pulled like 2 days ago, or
it was pulled like we'll say a day after FPL ended, or after the last game week ended, because Madison was going up in price and it was someone else was dropping, and I was like, you know what, I wasn't expecting to gain a lot of team value, but I wasn't going to just lose money on it either, and I knew it was happening. So yeah, wildcarded on Sunday.
And can I ask you, did it feel good pulling it?
Nah, not really. It was like I think I can't remember how much I had to drink, so I don't know how much of it was. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how much of it was me being high on life, or how much of it was me being high on wine. So yeah, I don't know. I think right now I'm happy I have it because there's lots of stupid shit over the international break, like Isaac's injury, and loads of little things. I'm happy I don't have to, that I can go into this now ahead of it. And to be honest with you, I think it's the kind of maximum time, as in what's there 8 weeks now until the World Cup. So I think it's 16 game weeks I think between now and the World Cup, if I'm right. Seamus, you might correct me, but.
No, it's game week 17, right? There's sort of 16 game weeks, and we're like, this is game week 9, so yeah, there's like 8 games,
exactly. So I feel like, I kind of maximize. I have my wildcard to start the season, I have my second wildcard now, and then that'll work me into the World Cup, and then, get the other wildcard. So, yeah, I mean, I think logistically I'm happy I played it, but, I'm not excited. But hopefully you guys can cheer me up. But before we talk about my wildcards, let's have a look at how things went for ye, and how you're feeling about your teams. Paddy, I'll start with you, because I saw your TikTok, and you seem anxious to get into game week 9, and you have some questions about your team. So talk me through how it's standing now.
Well, at the minute, as you said, I wildcarded. I have made no changes. I have one little flag there, and that's Isak. And I'm quite happy with my team, Ger, to be honest. I don't find like there's too many problems. There's a few things. Maybe I'm looking at De Bruyne to Salah. I'm looking at maybe Isak to like Tony or something. But I might just roll the transfer, and have 2 the following week.
So just for the purpose, for the audio listeners, because YouTube lads can see it, Pope, Cancelo, Perisic, Trippier, you're the back 3. Then Martinelli, is that Gordon in your team?
Yeah, I have Gordon in there as well, yeah.
De Bruyne, Bowen, and then Haaland, Isaac, and Mitrovic up top. And you've got reserves though. You've got James on the bench, so you've actually kind of you're really playing a back 4 with Trippier, Perisic, Cancelo, and James, and Pope.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, that totally fucking makes sense. So Gordon's your 4 midfielder. Yeah, no.
He's like foddery. But I mean,
you happy 58 points? I mean, I know it's been a while and maybe it doesn't feel as fresh in the memory anymore, but 58 points, you don't have much
green arrow, Ger. I got a green arrow, so once I saw that green arrow, I was happy enough.
Alright, cool. Let's see how similar that team is to Seamus. Seamus, how are your You know,
remarkably, remarkably
are they the
similar.
exact same team?
I
Oh,
didn't realize Paddy was in Wildcard because obviously there was so much of a gap with games being postponed and things like that. There was like the blank game week. What was it? Game week 7 was blank. Then game week 8 was only half a game week, and then we had the international break.
they're
Um,
not that similar. They're not that similar.
no, they're quite similar though. I mean, I think the main difference here is he went with I went with Kane and Ward Prowse or something like that. I don't know who I went.
Yeah,
And he went with Isaac and De Bruyne.
yeah,
So yeah, that was my main decision on my wild card, Kane or De Bruyne. Was kind of wanted to go with De Bruyne, but I felt I wanted to kind of go for Kane. The only reason I wanted to go with De Bruyne, the main thing that was saying go with De Bruyne is that I had a premium spot in midfield, allowed me to go to Kane. But really, it kind of came down to was I going to get Salah back this week for a Brighton game, which looks better now that Potter's gone potentially. I decided in the end I'm not going to be getting him in because the fixtures. I just wanted off Liverpool. I kind of feel a bit aggrieved. I pulled my wild card in game week 7, or was it no? At the end of game week 6 for game week 7, which got postponed. So I was like totally all in, like screw it, I'm off these Liverpool guys. And then Liverpool got faced by Napoli, was it? In the got absolutely spanked in the Champions League, and then the narrative became, yeah, screw Liverpool, they're looking shocking. I was like, I had already decided this. So now everyone's off Liverpool. I've got no Liverpool, kind of, which is surprisingly not that scary. I probably will be scared next week now, but yeah, I kind of felt like, you know what, Liverpool at the minute, I'll come back to them at a later time, but Salah and Trent just not looking good defensively. Salah is too far out wide. He's still getting shots and stuff, but I never feel convinced he's going to absolutely smash it. And it just seems like Haaland is going to be an automatic lock for captaincy most week. Maybe not this week against United, but that's debatable. We'll get to that. I think it's a good time to risk not having Salah. So I said to go Kane. And just to call out my team then. Very similar back line. Pope, Cancelo, Trippier, and James, who's on the bench. I went with Nico Williams as fodder. I have Kufal in there because I thought they might get the win against Everton, who are having trouble scoring. Good defensively, but having trouble scoring, but Everton got the win. Bowen, Madison, Martinelli, and Ward-Prowse with Andreas on the bench. Kane, Haaland, Mitrovic up front. And yeah, I'm going to roll this week because I actually have benching dilemmas this week. It's hard to figure out for the bench.
Yeah, we'll get into game week 9, I suppose, soon on. But yeah, you're both pretty happy. I mean, there's one thing that you both have in common. Jared Bowen, who's someone that I guess if I had wildcarded in game week, the same game week as E7 or 8, whatever we want to look at it, if I had wildcarded then, I probably would have also gone Bowen. But now that not everyone, but quite a few people have took that chance, and he blanked again, I'm like, nah, not doing it. In my head, and that's one of those kind of, obviously you didn't get Bowen in for one fixture, so I'm not mad, but isn't it? It's weird how things can just kind of flip, like narrative wise, in a week. I mean, the big talking point this week, not talking point, but the bandwagon on Twitter is Dominic Solanke. Like I don't understand it, but neither of you went with him on your team, and with me wildcarding this week, I've completely neglected that thought. Like, are you up to speed with that, Paddy? You've mentioned.
Yeah, I've seen the Solanke bandwagon and the hype, and I've also seen who said it. Someone said you picked the player, not the team, and they made a reference to that Norwich being so bad, but Pukki still managed to get like 9 goals and 5 assists. So, and the fixtures are good for Solanke. So if anyone wants to do that, I don't see a reason not to. For a couple of weeks before you get your international break wildcard or your World Cup wildcard or whatever you want to call it. Speaking about Bowen there, though, Ger, every time I've seen Bowen, he looks like he's actually going to get me FPL points. So I'm quite happy that I brought him in. And looking at the fixtures going forward, Wolves, home to Fulham, and away to Southampton, the next 3. I'm optimistic having him.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, as I said, I'm not gonna knock him down on one blank. I think I would be worried that it's like 8 blanks now, and
Yeah,
I'm not convinced on West Ham at the moment. I mean,
but I've only had him for one blank, so you know, don't, you know, we
Same.
can't we
Yeah.
can't. We might have him for more positives than negatives, Seamus.
so what are your thoughts on West Ham then? Like, I know you said you picked a player. Did you say it's the player, not the team? Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, I read that on Twitter today.
That's
I
bad.
was Abdul said it was actually
Yeah, it's
poetically put.
oversimplified. Balderdash is what that is.
I'll tell you why I went with him. Of his, okay, what was he? He's had 8 games, is he? So of his previous 7 games before I brought him in, those 6 games, like 4 of those were against hard teams. You know, Chelsea, Spurs, City, and I'm going to classify Brighton as a hard game as
That's
well.
fair.
Brighton are fucking good. One easy game against Forest. And you know, I would classify Aston Villa as not an easy game. They did win.
Well, it should have been a game
1-0?
that
Yeah,
he
they
would have
won.
got points. You would have looked at that Villa game and you would have expected something.
Yeah, but Villa are kind of tighten up defensively now when they decide they're going to defend. They don't create anything. But yeah, West Ham do look poor. I thought, you know, they might start turning it around, and I thought Everton might be where they started. They do still have a great run of games. Fulham will be probably defensively tight, even though they're coming out and attacking more this season. Then you think, or sorry, not Fulham, Wolves, and then followed by Fulham, which is a good game. Southampton away, I don't know. Yeah, look, I'm just ready to take the punt. I had a like 8 million kind of spot in my team to put in there, and didn't really know who to go for. And I thought, oh, a punt on fixtures. Kind of wanted to go for a punt. I'm surprised he was so popular, but as I say that, I look at it,
Yeah,
it's 3.8% owned.
So it's the Twitter.
So
It's the Twitter
not
bubble
popular.
there. Isn't
So
it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. Is like, you know, you get those kind of, as I said, the Solanke, the Bowen, like that, the fever, the bandwagon of the week, where it's just like, oh, you know, I don't know what it is, but it sometimes gains momentum and can catch the eye. But no, you're right. I mean, he is still a massive differential. I don't expect a lot of goals in that West Ham Wolves match. I think it'll be low scoring. So I think I'll hope to skate by another week without Bowen, but I'm looking forward to him becoming an option. I mean, I think that's one of the things that the last couple of weeks has done is you've got players who played wildcards or had to react differently to the weird shit, and there's been like a certain divergence in the template, I suppose.
Yeah, well, Ger Solanke is the new Holland, according to Ash here. So, and I'm going to agree with Ash.
yeah,
well, Ash knows best.
Nuclear
Yeah,
Adams
so-
said that Hindu Monkey made on Twitter made a whole thread about Solanke, and it was pretty convincing. But I think he kind of was forced into coming up with a new locomotive train because I think he's Joe Linton wanted to start this season ended in absolute fire, and not in a good way. But yeah, Nuclear Adams is also on wildcard, and he thinks that Bowen is absolute dross, and he's giving out to me for having like Ward-Prowse. He's like, who has Ward-Prowse? And the answer is me.
Yeah.
Nuclear Adams just woke up and chose violence today, by the sounds of things.
Yeah, sounds like it. But look, you'll all be, you're all laughing now.
Yeah, we'll see who's laughing next
But,
week,
you know,
Seamus.
You laughs loudest, and watch as Ward-Prowse gets 2 goals now against. Where against this week? Everton, is it?
Yeah. Can I be honest,
Yeah, I
guys?
don't know.
I've been sitting here right since we started streaming, and
Yeah.
and I was looking at the chat on my side, but I have the stream screen open. I'm not on YouTube or anything, and not a single chat came in the whole time I was there. And I was getting a little bit like, are you fucking kidding me? You know, we've been doing, you know, like there's not one person in the chat, even though I can see viewers, like that never happens, you know? And it wasn't until you said this person X, Y, and Z that I realized I had the setting wrong, and it was showing me just a small percentage of something. I click live chat and it all popped up, and I'm so fucking relieved.
Great story, Jerry. You should tell that at your wedding.
I will, but I just wanted to say thanks to everyone that's watching, and you know, I'm just looking through the comments now, and I'm like, oh, nice, okay.
Yeah.
Who else have we got here? We've got Mike Halpin, good friend of the show. I saw General Zod there a while ago. We've already mentioned Nuclear Adams and Ash. Ian Quinn is there. Yeah, we got some questions actually. I think one from him as well. But yeah, there is chat there, Ger. But yeah, I think Solanke is a fine option. It was just mentioned there. I don't know if he's the new Haaland, Ash, but yeah, that was my kind of. I had this eyed up way before, like weeks ago, because obviously I'm on my wildcard about a month now. Even though I'm not on anymore. But when I was lining it up, I was like, if I need to get money to get Salah in quick, Solanke's got those fixtures. That's a Kane to Solanke move that frees up 11 million or whatever it might be, or 5 million or whatever it might be, and that makes Bowen to Salah quite an easy move. So
yeah. What about you, Paddy? Are you pro or are you Aki or Nish on Solanke?
Well, I've got an Isak problem or an Isaac problem, and I mean that would be an easy drop down there. Could drop Isaac to Solanke and free up massive funds.
Massive,
but then again,
like what, 2 million?
Massive, yeah. Like I've like, and then whatever I have in the bank already, like could go a long way. So I'm tempted, but I'd rather. I just wish I would love to get news that Isak is okay.
But he's not okay. That's confirmed. He's out for weeks, Paddy. That's not even.
Is he out for weeks?
Yeah, that's not a. That's not up for debate. You know, he not only is he out for weeks, but Callum Wilson has also declared himself fit. So I think Eddie Howe has stated that they will wrap him in cotton wool, referring to Wilson. Fair enough, but as far as I'm concerned, that also is a massive effect on Isaac. Again, I'm going to say Isaac. That's how I've been saying it. Have you heard it differently? Is it Isaac?
No, Isaac.
I have no fucking idea. But anyway, everyone knows who we're talking about. So then it looks like that's my fire, Ger.
Yeah, looking at your team. I mean, it's not even a fire. I'm like, I hate to bring up that fucking TikTok, but I did watch it, and
thanks.
So I'm aware of your thoughts, and you did state in it that you could just bench Isaac and roll the transfer. You have the bench there to do it, like with James.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not much of a fire, Paddy. Not much of a headache. I think it's definitely an area that you can attack because it's always fun to replace a striker, unless you're replacing him with Dominic Solanke, which is probably the least fun I can ever think of so far this season. You know, in terms of. Like, I don't get it. I disagree with both of you. I think he is a joke. Not him as a person, but...
Yeah, well, maybe he is.
He's 100% going to score this week. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's just the way it works. Twitter has a small little kind of verbal fucking bandwagon, and then anyone with a bit of... You know, who's been around the block and seen all this nonsense before. A striker playing for a team with, you know, very high possibilities of relegation. He hasn't, I believe, got any attacking returns this season, and then somehow people are turning to him just based on price or fixtures.
He's only back a couple of days. He was like, I think, the second highest goal scorer after Mitrovic in the championship last year. Got like, I don't know, 21 goals or something like that. He still can do it in the lower level, and then the question is, can he do it here? And I reckon he'll end up the season with goals, but I don't think he's going to get
how dare you, Ger, call him a joke?
He's a joke. He's a joke of an FPL option.
One of the goats here now. Abdul's.
The problem is Bournemouth. How bad they are. That's the problem.
Yeah, okay. Norwich were probably on the same level or worse than Bournemouth. This Bournemouth team.
Yeah.
Finished bottom 19-20 and 21-22 with the least goals scored in both years. Pookie managed 11 goals and 3 assists in both seasons. In FPL, you pick the player, not the team.
So I assume did you say that was Abdu? That was FPL Salah?
Yeah, that was the GOAT himself.
So
he's blue ticked now and all.
Has he got a blue tick now?
Yeah, he got a blue tick. He got a blue tick from picking Solanke.
Oh, that's what you gotta do. Look, who am I to argue? But I stand by exactly what I said, and as I said, fully expect him to get an attacking return this week, and it'll just stick in my shit, you know.
Yeah.
Is he on penalties? I don't actually know who the penalty taker is for Bournemouth if he's on the pitch. Is he penalty taker? Because if he is, you know, a team will get 2 or 3 penalties a year, probably, maybe more, depending on the team. So that's what kind of helps with Pookie's returns. So it's not like for like. I mean, if he's on penalties and he's going to be kind of the guy, he's going to be involved in a large percentage of Norwich's goals. Like when Norwich scored, you kind of expected Pookie to have a goal involvement there. Mike
has jumped in and he said like Bournemouth terrible XG 0.43, I mean, that's another. Like, I don't know. I could just pick the.
He's on
Ideas,
penalties though,
yeah.
boys.
How do you know? Has he
Because
taken one?
General Zod just said it, and like
Oh, okay.
I would take General. I would need
If he
General
was taking
Zod.
last
They'd have to
season.
win a fucking penalty first. That's all I'll say to that.
But he was missing for their first few games of the season, so that he hasn't been playing 90 for
Well-
like
well
this is the
said,
late
Seamus.
games.
I can't believe the resistance I'm getting here. I thought, I'd say this now and the lads will just be completely in agreement with me and we'll just shit on Solanke for 30 seconds and I won't have to defend myself. And you've really put it up to me.
I mean,
Paddy's
as I
throwing
said, the
quotes
lads
at
are
me
talking
from
about
fucking
ice.
FPL Salah. There's people, like, for fuck's sake. How am I supposed to argue about this live on air?
Like Solanke, I had no plans to bring Solanke into my team, and now I feel like doing it just because you're fucking pissing me off,
I
Ger.
dare you. I dare you.
Don't you dare me.
You chicken?
There are other players. Don't make any transfers now, Paddy. I'm telling you, just relax.
I'm not making any until
He
Like,
doesn't
Saturday.
have the stones to fucking bring in,
Jesus
so, like,
Christ.
The lads are comparing
Right now.
Tony with the lads are on the chat are comparing Tony with Solanke, and like there's only one winner there. Like it's going to be Tony. He's done it in the league last season. He's on penalties too. He scored a hat trick only 2 game weeks ago, and he's playing Bournemouth, who are the team you target this season. Well, maybe not Nottingham Forest are, but the next team you target. So I'd rather have Tony, but there is a price difference. So if you could go from Isaac straight to Tony, that's probably a better move. But there is something appealing about taking a punt on a regular starter for who's he's pittance. Like, what is he? I actually don't even know his price. 6 points. Oh,
5 points.
no, is he 5.3? It's
Yeah,
5.7.
it's
5.7.
yeah.
That's
What do you mean it's not a bargain if he doesn't score?
Shout out to Harry D, who likes my TikToks.
Yeah, your TikToks.
I've seen Harry D.
TikTok. That's a whole new social media that I've just invented right there.
Good.
TikTok. Oh man.
3 home games in his next 4. Brentford, Leicester, terrible this season, and Southampton at home, and then in between an away game to Fulham. They're not bad fixtures. I mean, we play fixtures here, right? We're not someone who just goes to totally perform.
Well, I mean, you say we're a we all of a sudden because I felt like we weren't a we 10 minutes ago when I started shitting on Select. No, I mean, like, I think the fixtures.
No, I just think those fixtures.
Yeah, I mean that's
form.
that's obviously the big attraction. Is like if you were to rate the teams by the ticker, Bournemouth are at the top. They have a really nice run. I mean, you mentioned Brentford. Bournemouth against Brentford this week, home to Brentford. And I think there's your second option, isn't it? I mean, that's the one everyone should. I assume that's what I did because I did go Isaac when I hit my wild card because he was going up in price, and then injury, boom, swap for Tony. Like I didn't think it was that complicated. If you didn't have him, and if you don't have Tony and Isaac, you have Mitrovic. I mean, like it seems to me the forward template is forming unless you're going with a Harry Kane or something.
I might do the Solanke transfer for episode 150 right now.
You don't have the stones. You don't have the balls.
I do have the stones, and I'm doing this for Mike. But you know what? Nuclear Adams all said, it's what you do with the money from Solanke that's the important bit, and that is true.
But then why not having a 4.5 player? Like, surely take the most money out of it.
I could take a hit right now and get rid of Isak for Solanke, and then
What a hit.
I could get rid of Gordon.
Why would you be taking... Oh, why would you get rid of... What's Gordon? Who's on your
Who
bench
do you
then?
want?
Yeah.
For Gordon. Yeah, and who are you going to bench? You going to bench
Look,
Solanke?
I don't know. I'm just here going with the flow.
With the
like.
vibe. Yeah, I knew it. You don't have the guts.
Look at your just pull up your 11 that you've starting this week, Paddy, and then decide, which players do you want to
I
swap
would have
out.
8.3 in the bank then to replace Gordon with something. Actually, I don't want to spend all that Gordon money because I want to do De Bruyne to Salah for Game Week 12.
It was not a Freudian slip, just as a quick reference to my Dick Docs thing. It was...
Hey, Harry D. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for loving my TikToks. Thank you.
So I guess
Sorry,
I gave
so-
away a little bit of my my plans, and we might as well move on over to what everyone's really here to talk about, and that's my wild
Don't
card.
worry, Ash. I won't.
That's my wild card. So
Fuck you, Mike Halpin, trying to ruin my season. Sorry, hold on a hit there.
No. It's fine, Paddy. You continue your petty little grievances.
Fuck you too, nuclear atoms.
There we go. There.
Okay, I feel like I've got all that out of my system now, Ger. We can continue the show. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. So I should be putting my team up on the YouTube there. Basically, at the moment, you guys probably can't even see it, can you?
No, can we? Fuck.
Typical.
Yeah, there's a lag. I'll see you in a minute.
You'll see it in a minute. Well, it's up on the screen, and you have it in front of you.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Sure.
first things first. I'm going to start at the back, right? And you're going to work my work.
That's what she said.
Okay, Paddy, come on. You know this is a family show. We start
sorry.
every episode with that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start from the goalkeepers, and I already have a decision to make. I have Sanchez and Ward. Now, what the fuck am I doing with Brighton? I mean, it's another talking point, and it's something that kind of, we haven't really discussed. Brighton, Potter, now with Chelsea, they've signed that guy. I can't remember his name. Petri, I think, is what's in my head. And I've read a lot about him, but not a lot. I've read more than I probably ever should have. But I haven't seen any match since, and now I don't know if Brighton are even worth holding on to. So are they an immediate? What are your thoughts on Brighton? I guess that's my stupendously workaround way of saying it. Seamus.
They haven't played since Potter's left, have they? Everyone blanked at game week 7. They didn't have a game in game week 8. Now there's been an international break.
Exactly.
I don't think they'll turn into a bad team overnight. Potter had them playing well. Now, they haven't had a game in a few weeks, so maybe they'll be a bit rusty this week against Liverpool. I can still see Liverpool winning, potentially. But I could also see a world where Brighton just keep on taking over. A new manager sometimes comes in, and if a manager leaves to join a better team, he's usually got the team playing well, and sometimes it takes a while for that new manager to fuck up that team and get them playing crap. So I could see there being a bit of a residual leftover performance boost from that possibly. Now that's just a theory. It could go the exact opposite way. They could be all down that Potter has left. We're not going to punch above our weight anymore, and maybe Potter's tactics and in-game substitutions were critical, and this new guy doesn't know what it is. Comes in, changes things up, makes one change that wrecks the whole team. Plays Danny Welbeck in holding midfield, but I think they'll be okay for a few weeks. But I was never really totally convinced on Sanchez. I think the Brighton defense were overperforming.
That's bullshit. But just to...
So, is this your wildcard team on the screen, Ger?
This is my wildcard team. Sanchez, Ward... Yeah. Well, I mean...
Dunk's interesting.
This is leftovers. I haven't finished what I'm doing.
Okay, you've got the spine in
This
there.
is why I'm asking, because I have questions. The likes of Saliba, the likes of Dunk. I mean... we'll get onto it. I just want to finish what I was saying about Sanchez. And
yes.
In regards to Brighton, I don't know how much... Have you read up about this new manager? Because Nuclear Adams kind of mentions it in the chat, and I watched Black Box this week, and Az had a big fucking circle jerk about...
well, he would anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I enjoyed hearing all of the information kind of condensed for me, because I'd only picked up bits and bits, but apparently he focuses heavily on attack, similar to Bielsa, according to Nuclear, and he's constantly mentioned attack in his interview, which he did, and has kind of backed it up with certain stats and stuff. So, I mean, he seems to have a bit of pedigree in the sense of there was no interview, that was who they wanted, similar to Potter, but maybe not kind of. It's the same. Do you get me? As in, I don't know, fucking know. Apparently, there's high hopes from the Brighton community. Is basically what I'm trying to say. And I'm wondering, looking at Brighton's fixtures. So when you look at, obviously the next two are kind of shit, Liverpool and Spurs. But then they have a really nice Brentford and Forest before City in game week 13. And what I'm trying to say to you is, if I keep Ward, and I know it's not the thing you should say when you hit the wildcard button. Paddy's already got that face in him.
Yeah.
But
what the fuck?
They have Forest and Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Leeds, and Wolves. But even if I just was to take the Forest and the Bournemouth fixtures with Ward, and then Sanchez comes in for Brentford and Forest afterwards. Like, that's 4 decent ass fucking game weeks. Is it that mad, or like who do you go with? Who would you, if you would have, getting a keeper right now? You've got Pope. Is he still? You think double Newcastle is still the way forward if you were wildcarding this week?
Yeah, I'm quite happy to have my double Newcastle. Like, Pope's a good. He's a save magnet keeper as well. I mean, like, we're talking about we can play aggressively now, because we have this World Cup wildcard coming up. So I don't know if I would be bringing.
What do you mean you can play aggressively? Where's that coming from?
You can just play. I mean, like, you can just bomb. Like, you've wildcarded now, and you don't have no worries or concerns. That's why.
Instead of 8 weeks of worries and concerns.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, bringing in Brighton now against what is it, Spurs and Liverpool the next.
I'm not bringing him in. He's already in my team. That's what makes it so hard for me to get rid of him.
I mean, like, I don't know. I would just be like, why not just sack him off now for a keeper that's got better fixtures?
I don't know. I think.
Like, why go through the pain of having to watch Sanchez? Like, people are wanting to bring in Sal this week, because they reckon he's going to annihilate Brighton.
Yeah.
They reckon this is the game.
I don't know, Seamus, you agree with Paddy? You think jump off now?
I
mean, you've been anti-Sanchez since the start of the season, so I don't even know why I'm asking.
I had Sanchez last year, and I just feel like he's got a ceiling, and he's 4.5 for a reason.
But his ceiling this year was getting those bonus points, which he wasn't doing last year. Like, you've seen the numbers he's gotten already.
Yeah, but I wasn't really expecting Brighton to be as effective as they were. I mean, last year, what they're doing this year was kind of what I expected them to be like last year, but there was always a mistake, from a defensive mistake that it gave up a goal. There was always, something that fucked it up. And they just couldn't executing it much better. And they were just on it this year. And if they drop back to last season's level, I just don't think he's worth it. And I think with Potter gone now, that's very likely. And I don't actually really like the fixtures. Obviously, what was that game? Obviously, apart from the Forest game, the Brentford game isn't necessarily a game I expect him to keep a clean sheet in. So yeah, I'd be looking to move on. Now, who did I can't remember who I had at the start of the season as my keeper. I had Lloris, that was it. But I thought Pope was the best looking. That's the word, not the best looking keeper.
Another Freudian slip tonight. We've got Dick Docks and Pope is the best looking keeper.
But I thought he was the.
Speaking of Pope, look who's in the background.
Pope, is it?
That's JP. He's watching over me tonight now. Special guest.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought Pope was the best, and then I just thought, Newcastle might as well double up. Like, you're double up in Brighton in defence. You got Dunk.
Dunk won't be staying. Dunk is turning. See, that's my thing, and that's what leads me on. We spent way too long on goalkeepers, but fuck it. But like, Gaeta was the second one I was thinking of. I was thinking of switching to Palace. Palace have a really nice run. Nuclear references in the comments. One big team, I think, all the way until game week 16. In one big top 6 team. And then there's talks of him losing his place now. And I'm like, is that just another Twitter fucking bullshit narrative? Like,
no, who did they sign during the summer?
Johnston, I think. Johnston from yeah.
And they had Butland as well, don't they? Oh, no.
Yeah, but like, why is he losing his place all of a sudden? Like, has that happened this season?
I think he's just been kind of shit. Who I think is it Walsh from FML FPL. He's a. I think he was saying like he's just kind of been crap for a while now, and fans are just kind of like, yeah, he might actually lose his place. And
so you buy into that rumor then? You think that it holds weight?
When a team buys a goalkeeper, and like Johnson is he's started being a Premier League starter before, you kind of wonder, is that why they're buying him? And sometimes it's just a case of a team just buying a backup, and that's it. And you don't think there's too much between them, but the manager of the team thinks there's quite a big gap. So I do like Palace as an option, but I think I'd rather have Anderson or Gay or someone like that, or Mitchell.
Pope and Everson, and just put yourself out of your misery there, Ger.
No, I'm gonna keep Ward if I'm keeping.
Sure, Ward's getting dropped.
Yeah, but if he's my 4 million keeper, then he just stays at it. Like I don't know. I know that
Everson's 3.9.
I know, but like Ward's playing, and I know everyone's saying Everson's gonna come in all of a sudden, but I'm like, I'm not gonna I would feel like a fucking idiot if I did that and Ward just kept his position. Do you know that kind of way? I'd be like, no, I'd rather, whatever.
But he's your sub keeper anyway.
Yeah, well, look, Paddy, I'm putting the 0.1 into starting keeper, but
okay, but you've just said that.
You never know when there's a cancellation,
Right,
and at the minute Ward is starting, so
my second
I'd go with
option,
Ward.
I'm going to just throw this sheet quickly before I jump off, because it was Guaita, keep Ward, and now, for some fucking reason, I'm leaning towards Pickford Begovic. 4.5, another 4.0. If you look at Everton's fixtures, they've got Everton have, where are my eyes? Southampton, United, Spurs, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace in the next 5. So United's kind of shit. Well, again, Southampton, Newcastle, Crystal Palace. I don't know. Is it madness? Like, when you include the whole lot of them, like, I think that's what I was looking at the whole way until the World Cup thing, and I was looking.
Yeah. Defensively, that'd be better though. This year, I'd be surprised how Frank has kind of got them organized. I kind of do not rate Frank, but they have been keeping things tight. They've kind of realized after last season that we're in a relegation battle. Probably again this year, we gotta just make sure we gotta be tight, and he's kind of doing an okay job at the minute. So they could be good if they keep focusing on defense. Pickford will make saves, and there's going to be games where they just let in shots, and he's going to end up with a 10-pointer. But I'd never feel confident with Pickford. But if he's down 4.5,
he's just 4.5. They've kept the 2 clean sheets, and I don't know. As I said, that you can see why I'm struggling, because I don't know if I want to invest in double Newcastle defense. With Pope, I feel like last week was that week. Kind of way, and now I'm like, But look, we'll move on from keepers. I'll mull it over a bit more. Let us know in the comments what you think of my my dilemma. But up next, so back 4 that I have at the moment. Where the fuck did I put the team? All right, yeah. So back 4, I have Trippier, Cancelo, Nico Williams, and then my problem is Duncan, Saliba. So look, Saliba is the one I want to talk about, because I've left him there because he's going up in price. Dunk is going to probably become Mark Gay for 4.3, because I think that's the next step. But Saliba, I'm jumping off him. I'm not mad for that, am I? I'm going, I let him go up in price. He's still going up. He's like one of the top transfer players in this week. Arsenal,
no, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, Arsenal have Spurs, Liverpool, Leeds, blank in the next 4. And go on.
That's what crushed us wildcarders the week before.
Is you had to make that decision.
Yeah, we had to make that decision, and of course Jesus and Saliba got the points and broke our hearts. But you probably got those points, so
I did. Yeah, I got the Saliba points.
You could take them and run.
I've gotten so fucking lucky with him. I've gotten 2 goals and an assist, and whatever clean sheets in between.
Well, it's time to move.
I get 4.7, bottom of 4.5 or something, and he's now 4.9. And I'm like, I'm just gonna cash him in and turn him into Reece James. Like, he needs to come in. He's
no brainer. Reece James. Even if I was in a wild card, I would love to bring in Trent, Reece James, and Cancelo.
Okay.
Ger, just look back. You got 37 points.
Isn't that crazy?
5 games. You
absolute crazy.
You absolute bastard.
Like last week, or the week when the last game week, I woke up, as I said to you, pretty hungover. We were out for a few pints on Saturday. And then Sunday, I looked, first thing, I'd already missed the first half of the Arsenal match. And, yeah, Saliba, a goal. I was like, oh, come on, son. I don't deserve those points. I felt dirty getting those points. I was like, ooh. But it meant I got more fucking points than you two, and you both wildcarded.
What did you get, by the way?
60. I got 60, which is fine.
Wow. Yeah, I got 58. I'm alright.
I think I went -4 as well, actually, so I really only got 56.
So you didn't fucking get more points.
No, I got 64 and I went -4, so that's terrible.
Prick.
Yeah,
dirty prick.
Suck on that. But yeah, Saliba, it is the right time to jump off. Yeah?
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not sold on those Arsenal assets. And I just say take it and run. You can always come back to them. But yeah, you absolute bastard.
That's the thing. All right, James is in now. James
Ian Quinner.
Go on.
Yeah, Ian Quinner, the guy who came third in Ireland last year.
More
He's
importantly,
got
won the mini league,
Fabianski.
the Hangover
Yeah,
mini league.
Fabianski, and he won the FPL Hangover Mid League, so fair play to him. He has Fabianski and Everson in his wildcard at the moment. Just to go back to keepers for a minute. That seems a bit reckless. To trust that much trust in a West Ham keeper. I have a West Ham
How much did
defender
you pay for Kufal?
who 4.4. But I feel a lot more comfortable dropping him every second game or dropping him 2 out of 3 games. But Fabianski, you're going to play him every game.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
just
a
don't
worry.
want to spend 5 million on a West Ham asset. Yeah.
It's just big balls, it's just big balls, and that's maybe what you need to win. That's what he did last year, so fair play. Let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do like the look of West Ham's fixtures. Like, we've talked of like the how nice the fixture list is for all the other teams, but I mean, we have kind of skipped over West Ham, Wolves, Fulham at home, Southampton, and then Bournemouth in game week 15 or game week 13. So like only really Liverpool in the next 5 that would pose any bit of a, and their XGC stats are very high, as in like they've got a good defensively. They look to be sound enough, even though they look pretty miserable going forward at the moment.
Jesus, Ger, sorry, just looking at your midfield, I think it's wonderful.
What's my midfield?
Your midfield of Madison, Diaz, De Bruyne, and who's the other one? Zaha? Did you have Zaha?
I think it's terrible. I think that's the bit that's caused me.
No, I think it's. I really like your midfield.
Well, De Bruyne is going to turn into Salah.
Yeah.
I think that's the way I'm going with that. I have to get rid of Luis Diaz as well. I don't know if I
like that you had Diaz in there because that was your Liverpool cover for Brighton, and you still have your big gun, De Bruyne.
Yeah, but these are again remnants of a bygone era. So I think my cover for Brighton will be Salah.
Yeah.
And we'll get on to captaincy decision shortly. But you're right to bring up the midfield. I mean, I've gone Maddison.
Mm-hmm.
And my other dilemma, like you mentioned Diaz, I think we can talk about Liverpool in a sec, but my other dilemma is Martinelli.
No, you keep him.
I think he's up there with Saliba.
I think he's the only Arsenal asset that you keep, especially with price. How much did you buy him for?
I bought him at the start. I had to start the season 6 million, so I'm in that position.
Yeah, so why would you want to buy him back for 6.6 or whatever the fuck he is these days?
I get 6.3, so I mean, I think he's still value at 6.6. I think that's why I wouldn't mind buying him back.
I would just keep him.
I've been in that position in the past year where I'm being like that. I'm just going to sell him. I'll buy him back in a few weeks if I need him. Which I know I've been like, I'll probably want this guy back, but I'm happy to go against him for 3 or 4 weeks. And I've always kind of ended up looking back at it going, I probably should have kept him, because if they're doing that well, they'll probably pick up a goal. Unless you think his form is going to completely fall off a cliff, which I don't necessarily think it will. I could see him getting a goal in the next 3 weeks. So I just kept him because I had the same dilemma. Last week, 2 weeks ago,
and he didn't do anything.
I think that
no, but he can't do everything.
I think as a season keeper for the price value alone, even, and not to mention he's looking the business.
He hasn't scored. He hasn't returned in these last 2, albeit an offside goal against.
Oh, God forbid!
But you didn't get anything against the Brentford match. Now I know, as cruel as it sounds, Emile Smith-Rowe apparently is crocked again, so at least that's kind of that thread of rotation's kind of gone. But I don't know what Arsenal are going to do at home to Spurs. I think Spurs will probably have their number, and I'm sorry, Mike. And Liverpool at home again. I'm going to be siding on Liverpool getting their mojo back. So then Leeds and blank. So I think the issue is I'm going to keep Haaland and Cancelo, and you have the same problem as me because you both have Haaland and Cancelo, right?
Yes. That's not a
problem. Is that a problem?
It is in game week 12 when all of a sudden is your bench then Martinelli, Haaland, Cancelo. Have you decided on that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that'll be my bench.
See, I have KDB, and he's going to turn to Salah, I suppose.
Yeah, that's my move as well.
I've a playing bench now because before I played my wildcard, I had Archer and Greenwood up front, so I had 2 4.5 non-playing attackers, but now I have a playing.
Now you have an actual fucking FPL team because I don't know what you were doing at the start of the season.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, I said I'd come on this pod if you like just did not mention the first 8 game weeks of the season. Okay,
Yeah.
didn't happen. I am not, 5 million rank in the
I
world.
just feel like you can go towards Zaha, with the likes of a Martinelli.
Yeah, I get it.
And I think that's kind of. But I mean, I don't know. Is he just another bone? Do you know? I mean, are you interested in the Zaha train? Like, I know he's obviously got a tough one this week, but next week.
I like Zaha. And he'll be there as an option if Bowman starts sinking the place up.
I have been burned by Zaha too many times.
But like after this week, Paddy, he's got even this week home to Chelsea, whatever. But he's got Leeds, Leicester, Wolves, Everton. Like that's 4 tasty fixtures.
Fuck him.
Fair enough. I guess I'll have to mull over it a bit longer. But you're both in the keep Martinelli camp.
Yeah, and I think some of the viewers there were pro Martinelli as well.
Yeah. Mike is anyway. Mike's a keep Martinelli.
You can't trust Arsenal, man, about Arsenal players. They're blinded.
I made this decision last week, and I don't necessarily think it was a bad decision. As I said, he had that goal against United, was ruled off for offside, and that was very close. So yeah, it's that was the one with the foul with Christian Eriksen in the build-up. Was that it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a United fan here. I remember looking at that going, yeah, that's very debatable. So it could have easily been a goal and maybe some bonus as well if they had lost clean there. So yeah. It's tight, but I think he's done well, so I keep him.
Speaking of just being on the wild card and some of these picks we've been chatting about, and I see Zaha floating about, and I see Madison. I know you are on a wild card, Ger, but would you say this would be the template wild card midfield? Just I've made a few notes: Zaha, Martinelli, Madison, Salah, and Andres.
I don't think Salah necessarily fits into the template one. I think you're going to have a lot of people on. I think he's the only one that people would be trying to talk about because there would have been people jumping off him with Liverpool.
But I think if you're on a wild card, you're bringing him in.
You think, to quote FPL era, they are the foundations of a wild card?
Did Era say that?
Well, I think so. I mean, I don't know if he said it specifically about those players, but I would be surprised if he didn't.
Right, okay.
That's his jam.
No, so, I was just going by the chat here. I see Zaha mentioned. I see Madison mentioned. We're talking about Martinelli, and of course, I do see a lot of chat about Salah going in here against Brighton. So I was just.
So I've just changed my team now to what I think it will be come game week deadline. All right, you'll see it obviously shortly on the stream. And let me know what you think. But that applies to obviously everyone in the comment section. I have 0.8 left in the bank, and I still have that keeper dilemma. But
that's just the fucking template midfield I just said.
Yeah, essentially. Well, I mean, because I was gearing the fucking conversation towards that. Because it's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, sorry. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. So, like, it brings us on to the last talking point in regards to midfields in game week 9. The Salah KDB premium midfielder route. Now, I know, Seamus, like, you've gone Kane and Haaland. They're your primo extremos. Paddy, your KDB and Haaland.
Mm-hmm.
I now, wildcarding this week, feel like I can switch KDB to Salah and take advantage of that Brighton game, which again is another, it's a common talking point because lots of people in that situation, anyone wildcarding has that option this week.
Yeah.
What do you think of it, Paddy? I'm leaning towards it. Just go Salah, back to Salah.
I think that's the move. I think that is the move. I think the people that wildcarded the week before wish they hadn't, just because maybe of the option that you guys have now to do that.
But then let me thicken the plot. Salah out next week for KDB again, potentially, or Son. Like hokey cokey premium midfielder.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the way that the next few weeks are shaped. a hokey cokey wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, like,
am I not being going to be shunned by the FPL community for planning transfers after my wildcard when I think it's almost law now that you need to roll it?
Ger, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's your team.
Seamus, what about you? What are you thinking?
I always like to roll it.
I do too.
But,
I like to roll
there
it
have
too.
been
I do
times-
like to too, but I'm just kind of thinking,
There have been times where I have booked in or planned a transfer. Usually, game week 1, I'll go. Well, my game week 2 transfer.
You're
is
chatting to
gonna
the
be
hokey
this.
cokey king here, Ger.
I'll put it this way: if I were to hokey cokey, it would.
you have actually. You are the hokey
You were the
cokey king this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. If you hokey cokey, it'll end up golden. So just go for it, man. That's all I know. It's like you'll pick the exact right time to hokey cokey, and I'll be hokey cokeying like 36 or 38 game weeks, and it'll all fall flat in their face.
The beauty is you don't have to hokey cokey. It's just an option that I will have to think about come game week 10. So I get Salah in this week. It opens up the captaincy options, which we will talk about shortly. And if I want to next week, I can look to attack another match premium, blah blah blah. But it kind of will depend on Champions League football and rotation risks and whatnot, because it's pretty much back to back now. And there is talks of Haaland won't play Southampton, De Bruyne won't. All this is going to be exactly just people crowing. There's always going to be that, but it has me thinking, fucking hell. I mean, I'm captain.
I thought that about Haaland.
You did actually.
First 6-7 game week season, and it bet me over and had its way with me. So right now, Haaland is, as far as I can see, going to start every game, and if they have it wrapped up, he'll come off in 60 minutes, and if they don't, he'll play 87 minutes, because that's the way it's been. He hasn't even really come off on 60 minutes that much even. He's sometimes made it to 70, 75 minutes if they've been storming away with it. So, no, he'll play every game. Why would he be rested? I mean, they've had an international break, but yeah, no. What was the other thing you were saying about Salah? I don't know. Before, when I was doing my wild card, I would not have thought that this Brighton game would have been an easy game at all.
But now there is the possibility that a new manager comes in and everything's in turmoil. And
but this is what I mean. Like, Liverpool are playing awful. Right, they're playing really, really bad at the minute. Their midfield is shambles. They're not really creating that much, and teams are exposing in behind them. Brighton have confidence. They'll probably feel like they could do something, even with a new manager. And unless, I think captaining Salah is almost gambling that out of nowhere Liverpool are just going to start playing amazing, or that Brighton are just going to start playing shit, like awful all of a sudden. And either of those two things could happen, but I wouldn't want to bet my captaincy
really?
on it.
Oh my god, you've been burned so poorly by Haaland this season that you're basically a domestic abuse victim.
No, you misunderstand. By Liverpool have been.
Yeah, but were you captain in Salah when everyone was captain Haaland?
Probably,
maybe. Yeah. I can't remember. It's been so fucking long since FPL's been there.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I had to captain someone when everyone was captain Haaland, and I was probably going with Salah. Like, I captained Salah plenty, and he was getting 5 points doubled or 2 or 3 points doubled. He has not been smashing it the way he has been in previous season, and it's because Liverpool haven't been playing bad.
But Liverpool can also
Salah's on
turn it on. Like, Liverpool scored 15 goals, I think, at this stage last season, and they've also scored 15 goals this season. Now, Salah had a shit ton more, I believe, at the time too.
Well, I mean, look, Brighton counts for 9 of those.
Bournemouth, you're right. That's fair.
Bournemouth counts for 9 of those.
You're 100% right, and you've scared me a little bit because before we recorded tonight, I was thinking, I've made my mind up. I'm doing. I'm a United fan. I don't want to captain Haaland against United for some. Not that I wouldn't do it. I captained Salah against United last year, so fucking I can't. I have no legs to stand on there. But I would rather not. And I've tried to convince myself then that Salah will be more fun this week in the sense that.
How about
so much more?
How about I tempt you? How about I tempt you with one man against one of his favorite teams to play, Sir Harold Kane against
See,
Arsenal.
I don't buy that bullshit either. I mean, like, I think I said, yeah.
That's why I said it. I know you just don't. He's got 9 goals in 9 games against Arsenal. Bullshit. Means nothing. Scores a hat-trick. Bollocks.
Yeah, but he's also never scored in August. Bullshit. He ends up just disproving that over time, you know?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of alternatives because I actually had to check see who my captaincy is on.
Who is your captaincy
on there for a while? It's on Haaland. I just looked there, but I had been thinking about James Maddison. But I think just owning him is probably enough. I'll have a look at it here. Part of me thinks, you know what, season's go terribly. Just keep taking punts now. Might as well just lean into it. Just go.
It's only
James
been
Maddison.
8 game weeks. Seamus. It's only been 8 game weeks.
Season's over.
Yeah, you're not going to win it. You're not going to win it. I'll put my hands up.
It's an easy one for me.
What is it, Paddy?
I only have one captaincy option on my team. It's Haaland.
Why not KDB? Outscored him last week.
I think the penalties, just going with the penalties.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What do you guys, as United fans, Paddy, what do you think of Haaland as, like, the whole, his dad getting his leg fucked up from fucking camera acting the bollocks. His dad getting his leg fucked up from Keane, and, you know, it's a derby. Like, do you think that he's going to be extra vicious? Am I a fool for avoiding it? Or...
Well, no, you're not, and he's obviously got that in the back of his head. And of course, him and his dad would have shared a wee wank and a pint, and he would have been like, "Fucking do these boys." And even before that, he said that this was the one game. He didn't even want to say Manchester United's name. He said, "There's one game I don't want to say their name, but I'm looking forward to that game." And this is the game.
You don't think he's just really, really hates like fucking Bournemouth or something?
Look, this is the game where he's already endeared himself to the fans, but this is the game where he becomes
captaincy.
It's on him and no one else for me. Well, I don't have anyone fucking else anyway, but I mean,
fair enough.
Haaland this is the game for Haaland. This is his Bayern Munich. This is the one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go against the curve this week. I think it's almost obligatory for people wildcarding this week to
go
for
Salah.
United fans wildcarding this week to go Salah. So I think I'm gonna have to. This will be one of those sliding doors moments where Bowie warned me not
if
to.
I had Salah, I'd go Salah though.
But if I had Salah, I'd go Salah.
Yeah.
What the fuck has that even done now? You've this is some kind of twisted mind game the two of you are playing with me, is it?
But
I would never play mind games with you, Joe.
Fuck.
Paddy just broke it down. He's like, if I had Salah, I'd probably go Salah this week because there is a chance. You know, he's on penalties too. I don't want, and I'd only do it as a United fan. But wasn't a United fan, I probably would go with Haaland.
Well, right there, Seamus. Who do you think's going to score more points, Haaland or Salah?
He thinks Haaland's going to score more points.
I don't know.
If you were to put a gun to my head now, right, and that's the best way to ever make a decision. Who's going to score more points? Salah.
I can't see Haaland not scoring in any game, even against United, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I do think he'll score, but I just think Salah has the potential to get more of like 2 or 3 returns against Brighton.
Oh,
There's a chance of it, even if it's not that high. I mean, it's very, very marginal. But the thing that sways it for me is if I had Salah, and I wasn't unlucky, I had Salah, I don't want to bet against United because I'm going to be watching that United game, kind of hoping that, you know.
Me too, but I mean, we all know. I mean, forget about being a United fan. Like, I mean, I have this little glimmer of hope in my heart where I think United are actually going to win the game.
Well, they've got results against Arsenal and Liverpool this season.
Exactly. I have that in my gut. But at the end of the day, when it comes to FPL, Haaland's my captain because I don't have Salah in my team. And if I had Salah in my team, I believe Salah, it's pretty obvious. I think Salah would be the captaincy shout this week.
Okay.
I'm going to grab a beer, guys.
Do grab a beer. Paddy, while Seamus is grabbing a beer, why don't you bring us towards this week's mini league section? You're always prepped, so I'm not throwing you under the bus.
No, I have it here ready to go, and I'm really, really looking forward to it as well because we've missed this last couple of weeks the way that the fixtures have fallen. There's been Monday fixtures and whatnot, hasn't there?
There has. And while you were pulling up the pages that you've definitely pre-prepped, let me take the time to invite anyone who has yet to join a mini league to do so. The code is on your screens, and for the audio listeners, the code is PK3DFT. PK3DFT, down for trucking. So the winner will receive a glorious hip flask, personalized by me, and I don't mean that in a weird sexual way.
Yeah, you do.
I do. A little
Tell
bit.
the truth.
But so join the league. The code is on the screen. PK3DFT. Paddy, over to you. Tell me some stats. Who is setting the standard?
Well, I will tell you just after this commercial break.
Do you want me to call out the top 10 and let you pull up some more?
You can call it top 10. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for this page to load here.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so in first position, I believe we have a new contender for the throne this week. Excalibur FC, Ari Nugraha. He is on a grand total of 478, so a mere 1 point separates him from second place, Rodders Rockets, John Roddy, on 477. Third place is your mother, well, Gavin O'Reilly, 473. Fourth place, the Invincibles, Emil Seidlich, 473 as well. Fifth, Blue in Exile, Danny Watkins, 471. Sixth place, friend of the show, FPL Renegades, Drew himself, 470. Seventh, how's that? Star, Anthony Trotter, 469. 8th, Drunken Pirates, Brian says, Ches, I don't know, 468. 8th, joint 8th place, our very own Ian Quinn, winners, former champion. And in 10th place, Tiger James Stevens, 466. What a fucking name. So
what a fucking name is right. So I guess we will dive into some of the mini league stats there now, and the first one we will look at will be the manager of the game week, Ger.
Okay, game week manager.
Yeah, the game week manager, and that is Callum O'Donnell, and he scored 86 points this week, which is fucking amazing. And that 86 points shot him up 56 places in the league, where he now sits in a pretty pathetic 87th place. But you know what? He had a really good game week, you know?
Yeah.
And special mention to Alan Jennings, 82, and Anthony Trotter, 78, who that 78 shot him up 20 places, and he sits in a respectable 7th place. So there you go. Ger, it is now time for the walk of shame, as I like to call it. And of course, you can't give props to the manager of the week without looking at the absolute fucking disasters. And David Iomidi, 24 points this week. Oof. Yeah, 24 points. He dropped 11 places. We also special shout out to Belgian Bruda, 31 points, and Paul Galloway, 32 points. We'll just we might get a bit more positivity over here now, and we'll move over to the transfer genius of the week. And I love a good transfer genius, and it goes to Patrick Wilson this week, who netted himself 30 points from 3 transfers, and he took a -4. Oof. Unbelievable. He brought it. Do you want to hear his transfers? He changed Darwin to Kane. He done Salah to Son.
Oh, there you go.
And he done James to Cody, and he netted himself 30 points from a hit 3 transfers.
Oh, yeah. The Son move paying off big time there.
Yeah, amazing move.
So this is the going double on Spurs thing, you know. Don't just go, I'll go for Kane. Go Kane and Son and watch the points roll in.
Yes.
Probably should have done that myself last week.
Anthony Trotter, who seems to be hitting the headlines a lot here this week, he also made 29 points from his transfers, and he also made 3 transfers, and he took a -4. And his transfers were Stansfield to Isak, Salah to Son, and Robertson to Trippier. So well done, Anthony Trotter. It was fantastic.
And Captain Son this week, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, come here. We didn't speak about Son and how he did this week. What did he make? Because obviously the managers here have made some big moves this week by getting Son in, and was somebody I considered, but just had zero form, no goals this season.
Yeah.
Overlooked it. I said I can't go for it. I have to go. Like I wanted that Spurs coverage. That's why I went with Kane in the end. But if I thought Son might have started, I might have went for him. But all the talk was Son is not going to start.
We'd just like to apologise to the league participants for Seamus's Son conversation there. He doesn't know that we're doing the league updates, but we will get back to Son in a couple of minutes. Thank you very much. So anyway, back to the league. The top, there was a load of free hits taken this week, but the best one was Paul Ryan. So well done, Paul Ryan. And before we go, we'll just do the bench wankers. Frank Fallon, 16 points, and Liam Herridge, 2 bench wankers. Who done the damage? Let us know in the comments below. And over to Seamus now for his Sun chat.
I hold my hands up. I apologize. I actually thought you were kind of finished because you've done the league, you've done the main things.
It's totally fine, Seamus.
I couldn't think of anything. I was like, it's probably nothing else to do.
It's his favorite thing. It's his favorite thing of the week, Seamus. Okay, he loves getting his time to shine. But you raised.
I feel really bad now.
You raised some good points. We didn't talk about Son, and I think I alluded to the hokey cokey in midfield, and that's because I feel, for me, Son is now an option again. Like he's shaken off the thing. He's scored for South Korea, so he's back in the goals. I do think rotation will be a slight risk, but I think that's the case with any Spurs asset that isn't probably Harry Kane at the moment. But I think it basically allows us to kind of, for the likes of myself or those sitting on a De Bruyne or another premium midfielder, you can now look at the likes of game week 11 and go home to West Ham, game week 12 where Haaland isn't playing, away to Bournemouth. Like, he's now a captain option, so I mean, like, if you were the hokey cookie, you have your Salah, say you want to jump back to KDB for the Southampton fixture, and then maybe you want to attack West Ham and Bournemouth for Spurs. I'm more, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm more than happy to jump to some stage.
You have the power to wield whatever destiny you want right now, Ger, so that must feel pretty special.
It does, but then again, go on.
I was going to say the problem with City and Arsenal blanking game week 12 is, you might look at someone like Son or Kane in game week 12 if they had a good fixture, but they're playing United away at Old Trafford, so it kind of feels like, yeah, maybe last year against the Solskjaer team, you might go, fair enough. But
no, you're right. I actually was misreading that. It was Southampton are playing Bournemouth. Whoops-a-daisy. But yeah, you're right. So game week 12 isn't all that appealing for United fans. But if you're feeling sexy, you can flick over to Salah in game week 12 at home to West Ham.
Game week. That's why I think that's maybe why Solanke's getting a lot of love. He's got a home game against Southampton that game.
But it's definitely one of the arguments for him is that he does have a fixture in game week 12. But
yeah, there's not a whole, like, if I just jump ahead there's not a whole lot of options for game week 12. In fact, Liverpool is the only one. I think you go to Salah then. I think I'm happy to hold off until game week 12. I might go Salah, or I might just go Diaz if this still looks shite. Game week 12.
Fair enough.
But Son is definitely a player that, if I was wildcarding this week, I'd be looking at, because I did look at him last week when I was wildcarding, and I was like, can't justify it. Not in his current form, not for his current price. But I'm a bit envious of you and your wildcard options.
I was just thinking the same, Seamus. I would love to have a wildcard now. Like, I'm looking at my team now and I fucking hate it. I'm in denial. I'm not pretending I love it anymore. I fucking hate my team. And I fucking hate the Ger as a wild card. They could do all these magical things. And I'm sitting looking at fucking Gordon, Bowen, Isak, and fucking Emerson. Like, where the fuck did Emerson come out of?
I don't know.
Sorry. I don't know. I'm fucking sorry. I needed to release this. Yeah. I was bottling this up for 81 minutes.
You were, Paddy.
Emerson didn't start last week.
He did not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's always kind of, as I said, mildly handy when you have a bit of a wildcard active. But yeah, before we wrap things up, I want to go to this week's puck fadas. And for those unfamiliar with it is the long shots. Paddy is reigning supreme. I don't have last week's results at hand, but for anyone who wants to pop a suggestion in the comment section, we're basically asking for this week's long shot, puck fada, under 5% owned. Who's going to do the business? Now, I had the honor of going first, and I went with a man that I spent a good 10-15 minutes bitching about at the start of the episode, but Dominic Solanke, I think he's 2.something% owned. Nice fixture this week. I don't know if either of you noticed, but I'm willing to take a bit of a shot on Solanke, and at home to Brentford, why not? He's my puck fada. Paddy, can you keep this reign of terror going?
Well, probably not, but I am going to give Aubameyang a shot this week as my long shot. 0.04% owned, and he has to make a start. And what a fixture to do it in? Away to Palace.
Absolutely.
As I say that, it sounds like he probably won't start in that game. They might be keeping him for a home fixture.
It's the definition of a puck fada, Paddy. That's what it's there for.
What it is.
That's what it's there for. Seamus, who are you looking at this week as your 5% differential?
This is a real puck fada this week. The fixture I was looking at was Leicester, who have had no form, but Leicester are playing Forest. So, if they do anything, I reckon they'll probably get a couple of goals. And I reckon that old chestnut Jamie Vardy might be somebody who's being overlooked this week. So I'm going to go for Jamie Vardy, even though he might not start. But if he doesn't start, he'll get minutes off the bench, and he can do damage off the bench. I do think he probably will start. Not in the know by any means, but they've lost their last two games. He hasn't started 5-2 and 6-2. So hopefully he will get the nod and score some lovely goals against piss poor Norwich, or not Norwich, Nottingham Forest.
No, I think it's a fair shout. I mean, the two of you have gone with mildly risky picks, so I feel like this is my chance to gain some ground and maybe do some good for whatever charity we decide to sponsor at the end of the season. But thank you very much, gents, and thank you to everyone who joined us this evening in the chat. I can see Glenjamin Button has jumped in there, and Paddy, you're getting more love from Harry D.
One coming tomorrow, Harry. Keep watching.
Yeah. Big shout out to everyone who joined us this evening. It was an absolute pleasure, and that's 150 episodes done, guys. How do you feel about another 150?
I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's only going to be a decade of FPL Hangover at that stage.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If I'm here another 150 episodes,
something has gone terribly wrong with my life.
Yeah, I've been held hostage by Ger.
Blackmail.
I just want to say I'm not doing it for the money, lads. I'm doing it for the love.
The money is just a bonus, is it?
Yeah, the money's just.
The money is the only reason I'm doing it.
The money is just a bonus to me.
I'm doing
it for the comments there from I get from Harry D. For the fan mail. Look at that. Keep up the videos. I honestly love to see them each day. Like, wow.
Yeah.
So that's what else.
Seeing Nuclear Adam stay up till 3:30 a.m.
Amazing.
In Bangladesh, isn't it? To watch us, lunatic, but fair play.
Yeah.
It is nice to hear
They're
that.
absolute.
Before we wrap it up, just want to chat normal about anything?
Just about life in general.
He's watching House of Dragon. Anyone watching House of Dragon?
No, I was watching Welcome to Wrexham though. That was my.
Oh, yeah. I watched the episode. That enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Ger, any tips?
Just the one. Don't interrupt my outro ever again.
Oh, sorry, Ger. We weren't ready for the outro yet. You see, we were not ready to go.
We were ready to go. Everyone was saying goodbye. It was a beautiful moment. Jesus Christ.
Did you watch Jeffrey Dahmer?
I watched the first two episodes. I didn't.
Absolutely amazing.
I mean, I know the ending, and they give away the ending in the first episode. I'm like, come on, I might as well be watching Passion of the Christ. You know?
Oh, that's okay.
Spoiler alert. But no, look, we'll leave it there. We will continue this off air. Anyone that wants to join us, we have a paid for Patreon that we will be requesting upfront payment for, and you can ask us questions, join our Discord channel, and all that whatnot. But Seamus, you have all the dirty details of where anyone that would like to find us could find us. You should. You've been saying it for fucking God knows how many episodes.
I haven't said it in about a month. Well, look, guys, you can follow us if you're not already. You should be. Follow us on Twitter at fplhangover. Paddy, you're at FPL Viking underscore.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah, on
correct?
Twitter, and my TikTok is FPL Viking underscore as well. Yeah.
Okay. And follow the Viking Dippers on Instagram.
Yeah. Perfect, Seamus.
I'm at FPL Drunk. If you want to send us in any questions, you can message us on Twitter. You can also email us fplhangover@gmail.com. We're on all the major podcast platforms, so whatever your platform of choice is, make sure you like and subscribe so you get notifications when the new podcast comes out, including this one. And if you're watching us on YouTube tonight, then you know we're on YouTube. Make sure you like this episode, subscribe so you get alerts for future episodes. And if you're using Apple Podcasts, rate that shit.
Yeah,
because
rating is so important because it puts it out there even more. So all the millions of people watching here tonight, just go on now and give it a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts as well. Thank you very much.
And plot twist, I know I gave out about Paddy interrupting the outro, but I did forget that we had one question tonight, and it was from me and Quinner. And before we go, it seems like a nice little random question. Which of the three of you guys was the best at football in their prime? So I know it's definitely not me, but I will leave it up to Seamus and Paddy. Who's the better footballer?
I wanted to see if you would say you or me, because obviously we played football together. So I wanted to see if you had the confidence to say in your prime you dominated me.
In my prime, yeah, but that was so long ago, Seamus. You know, I feel like my prime wasn't your prime. You know,
but in my prime, I don't know if our primes ever overlapped.
I don't think our primes ever did overlap. Yeah. And even
I'm going to say in my prime, I was, but Paddy, I don't know. I've seen you on post some videos online. You look like you got.
I've seen his spawn. His spawn is fucking excellent. He didn't lick that off a stone.
My what?
That's
your spawn, your kid.
I would say, oh yeah, my spawn. I have a kid. Yeah, I would say probably Seamus played at a more competitive level than me, but that gives me a good segue into Game Week 39, which will be happening again June 3rd. I'm going back to Birmingham for round 2. So,
Devin, are you going over for the trials?
No, I'm trials.
You get to skip that, do you? Oh, fuck's sake! It's bullshit.
How dare you?
Cronyism.
Even fucking
Cronyism
that I
is what that is.
Fucking do a trial for the team that I've been a part of for a whole year. So, Game Week 39, we'll see you there. You boys should come over.
Just to support your sorry
ass. I need a water boy.
Oh, yeah.
And
where's it on? Birmingham?
Yeah, Birmingham, yeah, and it's going to be bigger this year. It's going to be bigger than ever. We're going to beat the fucking South. I see Ash there with his 5 stars. Do you know what, Ash? Thanks for being here tonight, but fuck you and fuck the South. So, yeah, the North. Long live the North.
Oh, we have Rory jumping in the chat as well. Ger was incredible until he snapped his Achilles. You know what, Rory? You're right.
Oh, yeah.
I was.
Both of you boys were forwards, so Ger, you're a good man to put the ball in the back of the net. With giving half a shot at goal. And Paddy, you're a striker as well.
I was a striker.
See, I'm a stopper.
Yeah, so different positions, you know.
Different positions, but same goddamn personality. I don't know where I was going with that. Perfect place to leave it. Again, thank you for everyone who joined us tonight. And we will catch you for Game Week 10. We have a surprise for next week as well. So keep your eyes and your ears on all the social media. And most importantly,